Hi, this is Mike Fauché. Today I'd like to do a short video on the Silverstone M.2 SATA SSD to USB enclosure. It's a 3.1 Generation 2 enclosure for that high-speed transfer. Hope you enjoy the video and don't forget to subscribe. Hello, this is Mike Fauché. Today we're going to do a short video on a retractable USB drive that uses a standard M.2 SATA drive for greater reliability and greater performance. Okay, so as you can see, I've actually taken the device apart. I basically have removed the 4 screws and removed this piece from the inside. We're now going to go ahead and assemble the SATA drive in there and get that going. And then from there we're going to give it a test and see how the performance is. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is actually insert the Nvme drive into the enclosure. Now again, as we've discussed many times in some of the other videos I've done, there are a couple different types of M.2 drives. The double key ones are actually SATA only. So you need to make sure that the device you're putting them in is SATA. If you try and put an Nvme drive in an enclosure like this, it will not work. I do have an upcoming video on an Nvme enclosure, but in this particular Silverstone, it's strictly for the M.2 SATA based drives. So let's go ahead, knowing that, let's go ahead and put that in. Okay, so we're going to start putting this thing together here, but in order to do that, in order to put the drive in, we actually have to loosen up this back piece. And the reason for that is they don't use a top screw on this particular model. So once we've loosened up this standoff, now we can go ahead and insert the drive. And then when we bring this down, we'll just simply pull back here. May have to loosen it a little bit more. There we go, and it kind of locks into that groove here, if you can see that. And then we'll just lock that guy down. So we now have inserted the drive into the sled. So the next step here is you'll notice that the drive looks like it goes in either direction, but it really doesn't. Because the way this thing slides back and forth, this is actually going to be on the top. And the reason for that is, I will show you, is that we have a button that actually fits in here. So we're going to put the button in here, and then we're going to insert the top on top of the button. Okay, and it just snaps together like that. So what you have here is a retractable USB. So once you get that in there, we'll need to put the 4 screws back in. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and there we have it. So we've completed our drive installation. We now have a retractable USB that's got a nice aluminum enclosure using a much more reliable technology. The M.SATA drives, the M.SATA M.2 drives are much more reliable than typical flash drives. And then you have not only the extra performance, but the extra reliability. It is a little bit bulkier than typical flash drive, but you know, the trade-offs are pretty decent, and I'm going to show you some others as we go through this series of external USB devices. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and get it tested. Okay, now that we've put the drive together in the enclosure, it's time to go ahead and test it. Now what I've done is I've put the device into a gender changer so I can plug directly into a USB-C. So that we can provide the maximum bandwidth for the enclosure to make sure we're not slowing it down. So this is plugged into a Generation 2 3.1 USB, which should match up with the drive nicely. So let's see what kind of performance we get. So I was using ATTO disk benchmark, and we're going to go ahead and start the testing. Now I'm going to probably speed this up somewhere along the lines, just so that you're not having to watch a very slow process, because it takes about 6-7 minutes or so to run. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up so you can kind of get the idea and take a look at the performance curve, and we'll take a look at the results at the end and see how that goes. Okay, it looks like the test is done, and as you can see, the performance is phenomenal. It's virtually matches the drive performance or specifications from the manufacturer. It's this is about the same performance you would get if you plugged it straight into your motherboard. You might get another, couple percent out of it, but that's about it. So the performance is just outstanding. We're really taking advantage of the USB 3.1 bus. So the fact that it's backwards compatible, using a more reliable technology, and that it's certainly faster with the right interface, just makes this a really cool little device to keep in your backpack or in your whatever you carry around with you. Makes it a really versatile drive, and I do have some more of these type of drives in upcoming videos, because I'm doing a short series on various USB solutions and drive solutions. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and don't forget to hit that notification so you'll be notified of new material as it comes out. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.